rub some of that off. I love it. Well, this is super simple, right? I obviously know you and adore you.
Yeah. Oh,
But
thank you.
of course, but there's right, you are not technically part of the breast implant illness community, right? Or what I am now dubbing my explant rebels.
Heck yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so just for that reason, I think it would be really cool to introduce you to everybody first off, let them get an idea of who you are and kind of why we're even friends and
Mm.
why we've connected, because this was really unique and very purposeful filling. So
Yeah.
Evan, what was it about the explant some wow explant secrets summer summit that sparked your interest in the first place, my friend? And like, how, or let's even back up from there. Who are you, and like what do you do, and then why do this with me?
hmm Yeah. 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 That's a great question. Essentially, what's going on, everybody? My name's Dr. Evan Johnson. You can call me Dr. Evan. And I'm really honored and grateful to be here. At the end of the day, throughout my life, and I was on a really wild path of not only personal growth, but also different traumatic experiences, ending up traveling the world, going through my own process of self-discovery and healing and understanding a lot of the concepts that we're going to be talking about on the virtual summit. But my background is in healthcare, so I had my own healthcare practice for about a year and a half. And it was incredible. I was serving big, as a new graduate, right out of school. I ended up crushing it. However, I reached a point, operating in the old traditional healthcare system where I was first and foremost no longer fulfilled
Yeah.
intrinsically. And second, I was seeing results that were typically not standard or normal in the traditional healthcare system, right? Because people were connecting so deeply to the power inside of them to heal and to become the medicine and step into a new way of living, that the results were phenomenal, right? And so I started to catch on to those patterns, as well as my internal patterns of not feeling fulfilled and knowing that there was something more for me. So I ended up leaving traditional healthcare, selling my practice, deleting social media, and traveling the world and really rediscovering what it was that I was here to do. And through that process, I started to write a couple books. So I've written and published 3 books about neuroscience and optimal health and well-being and epigenetics and these types of concepts. Uh,
Basically, you're the shit.
Thank
You've done a
you.
lot.
Yeah, and it was really easy. And I don't say that to toot my own horn or flex, but everything was coming through me really easy because I finally had aligned myself with something much greater. So in that process of launching these books and rediscovering my path, I was like, okay, well, the next thing that's going to really make this pop off and be huge is I want to land a TEDx talk. And so that's one of the biggest moments of my career, because TEDx is such a respected and an authentic platform for people to get their message out into the world, which at the end of the day is how we got connected with um, the new, I guess, news that you landed your TEDx talk, which is massive. So we can celebrate that and ultimately just recognize that a lot of why we're connected today. And I'll share a little bit about my family history and how it
Yeah.
relates to breast implants and cancer and things. But a lot of why we're connected today is because ultimately I reached a point in my life where I knew that there was something much bigger than me that I wanted to connect to. And TEDx is a huge platform for that, which is what you got connected to as well. And now we're getting this opportunity to, really preach about these topics that we love in our own ways together
Right.
for this summit and impact the lives of as many men and women that we possibly can. So uh, essentially, this really hits home for me and my heart, because I have a huge family lineage of breast cancer and different addictions and illnesses and all these different things, which is really at the forefront of why we're doing this event, to preach optimal health and well-being, specifically in the lives of women, and how it relates to, again, traditional systems of society and how women are perceived or how they're supposed to show up in this world. And implants are a huge part of that. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I think
Long conversation.
yeah, that's a whole nother summit, which if you guys haven't
Right.
got tickets yet, go get your tickets. And so I have this connection with my heart to this mission because of my grandparents and great grandparents and my mother, who is a survivor or a thriver of breast cancer about eight years ago. And so with that, I always like to say, whatever's in my field, it's typically meant to be there because it's some aspect of my life or my family that I'm supposed to either look at and heal or showcase for the world in a new way, which again, this is a huge passion of mine, is to preach these new paradigms of health and well-being. So yeah, that really hits home for me. And, if I can impact and save the lives of one person, just from this talk, then I consider it a win. So.
Well, you made me cry. I have had the opportunity to talk to you several times as we've gone through and developed a really wonderful friendship and working towards our goal together. But I did not know that your mom had breast cancer. I'm so happy to. It sounds like she's okay.
Yeah, she's crushing it. Like I said, she's thriving. She
Yeah.
went through this whole process of completely detoxing her life. She uses like all non-toxic products. She meditates and prays. She really, because of me, I like to say, because of me, I've really gotten to talk to her about her spiritual life and her belief systems and what she believes, and like the power inside of her, that she's not a victim of these external circumstances or her past or her ancestry that has had these diseases. And actually it can be something new, and she can show up in a new way and become a new woman. So I like to have those conversations with her, and she's crushing it right now. She's working out. She has all these non-toxic products that she uses to ultimately keep the optimal level of health and well-being that she has stepped into because of those traumatic experiences and her path with breast cancer. So she's crushing it. Yeah, at the end of the day, she's crushing it.
Well, I mean, there's so many reasons that we've connected that have already become very clear, but now it's really coming full circle for me. I'm so excited because we have two other speakers that are breast cancer survivors and are talking on that topic as well. And so I think it's really important. One of the big things that is coming up for me with this particular summit is the fact that breast implants all cause cancer. Now, that doesn't mean that every single woman that has ever had breast implants is going to get cancer, right? But we know that every single kind causes cancer. And so all of us that have had them are at risk, and they're multiple kinds of cancer, right? And so we stepping into this experience are greatly increasing our odds of experiencing lymphomas and cancers of the immune system and sickle cell and just a whole, there's tons, but also a very specific group of women who are directly impacted by this are women who have gone through breast cancer, because many women who would have never gotten implants but then get cancer lean into implants to try to feel whole again, right? Or try to create that feeling of nothing's wrong with me. And so there's a whole other conversation on that side of things that impacts women too. And so I think there's a lot that you can speak to on that side of things of somebody who loves somebody going through that, which I think is a really unique view, right? Because we've got two women that have been the individuals experiencing breast cancer and going through breast implant illness afterwards and all those kinds of things. But it's another perspective to be the person who loves the person that illness. And I think that will bring a really valuable perspective on top of all the other crazy, awesome stuff you're going to talk about.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's such an honor to be a part of this and bring my perspectives into it, in going into everything from, the BRCA gene and how that whole process works, and in the identity shifts that happen when people are both getting implants or going through their experience of cancer and all these different things, and how that identity relates to the body and the biochemical nature of what's happening, and how different genes are being turned on or off based on the lifestyle they're living, the belief systems they have about themselves. And again, this is the whole study of epigenetics. And so I'm really excited to answer questions. I'm really excited to provide those perspectives in ways that maybe people haven't heard about, because it is all connected. At a physiological level, the body is a biotensegrity matrix, right? It's all connected. And at a spiritual level, it's even more connected, right? Because there's no separation between how people are showing up, the lifestyle they're living, and what's happening inside of them. So I'm excited to dive into that.
Which I think is really cool, because and this is one of those things that, like, when our women enter into this experience, the summit event, I'm going to ask all of them to have an open mind, right? Because some of this stuff sounds way far-fetched and like way out there when you just touch the tip of the conversation. But that's why I think it's going to be so amazing to have you have the time with them to talk through the science of it too, right? Because there's both sides, right? And spirituality can mean religion, but it can mean so many things to people, right? And so I'm so interested to see how, because you weave things beautifully, Dr. Evan, between, the science and the spirituality and the whole body. And that's ultimately what the goal is, right? Is to teach somebody how to come back to their whole body.
Yeah.
And be fully present in who they are and find that health and that joy again. And I truly believe that you can help us do that. And so I'm so excited for those conversations. Is there anything else you want to like hint at that you're talking about at the summit? any I don't know, gifts or you know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so true. And I'm excited to also provide education frameworks for people to make their own decisions, because that's what we really want. We want thousands and thousands and thousands of women who are empowered and making decisions from the most aligned and authentic place. Because again, you said the whole goal is to get people in their bodies and understanding what's going on and who they want to become. And a society in the mainstream media and a lot of marketing techniques and tactics sometimes gets people out of their bodies, right? Because it's casting a vision for something that isn't actually in the moment or happening in real time and space. So again, my main goal is to help everyone shift the paradigms that they need to shift and step into a new way of living, and ultimately to embody the greatest version of themselves. And so we're going to be diving into that. We're going to be diving into everything from ancient culture and how, beauty and identity of women has been tied to civilizations since ancient times and how it relates to people now, and really getting back to the grounded essence of what it means to be a woman, what it means to be in a state of optimal health and well-being, and then tying in the science and specifically the neuroscience, epigenetics, and overall just the physiological aspect of what's happening inside of them when all of this is taking place. So again, I'm excited to have these conversations. I'm excited to not only teach, but just walk alongside of everyone who is attending this event, because at the end of the day, it's never just me either. It takes all of us to really make a massive positive impact in the world. So yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this.
Man, Dr. Evan, it's an absolute honor. I'm just still in awe that I'm working alongside you with this. And it's so funny. I've said this to you a couple of times, but just for the women listening, I think it's hilarious because when I first started setting up the summit, I had exactly no interest in inviting any man. But I'm like, I don't want surgeons. I don't want men. I want it to be a very feminine, very safe space to have real conversations. And then the universe was like, surprise, here's Evan. And I'm like, no. And then I listened to you talk. I listened to your TED Talk, which I'll link below, because you guys should absolutely watch it. It's actually really, really wonderful and remarkable and a good opening to who you are, aside from this. right? I listening to that, I'm like, nope, this makes sense.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
it's only
100%.
gotten better, right? I've only connected with you more, and I've only gotten more and more excited. I personally am feeling super stoked to go through your actual talks at the summit, just for my personal healing and growth. So I'm feeling a little selfish on that side. I'm totally attending my own summit for personal growth and healing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, actually, because like you said, like we're walking along, like we're all in this together, right? Every single woman attending the summit is with me in this moment. It's something that we're actually walking through side by side. And that's really cool, because this has been one of those illnesses that feels very alone. I think that's purposeful, right? I think socially, and I don't want to sound too conspiracy theorist, but there's big business in breast implants. There's big business in plastic surgery, and there's big business in the beauty industry. And the more singled out women feel, and the more alone we feel, the more money we spend on things to feel better, to feel included, to grow, right? And if it's not, it's okay to spend money on things to better yourself, right? It's okay to spend money on products and things, but not things that are actually detrimental to you. But I think that's really where things are headed right now, right? The focus is not necessarily on what's really in our best interest. It's on how can they make us feel alone and want to spend money on things that aren't necessarily aligned with what's actually in our best interest, because it makes them money. And this entire journey, there's millions of us suffering from this, but every single one of us that I've ever talked to always says that it felt like I was the only one. Right. And I'm so excited for a moment of all of us together, and just seeing the faces and the hearts in the room, in the space, right? It's virtual, so it's from all over the world, but we're all in this room together, and they're inviting us into their homes, and we get to be there together. And I'm genuinely excited to hold their hand and be with you women on this, have you be there with me, but also be there with Evan, and as he coaches us through some of this really big stuff.
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, I'm also excited to lock arms with everybody who's not only speaking and facilitating and teaching, but all the attendees of the event too, because we truly are stronger together. And that's something I've learned over the years. So I'm excited for this. And one thing you mentioned was, through us getting to know each other, it was like this surprise of okay, yeah, not only is Dr. Evan about this and really interested, but he's excited and he wants to love, and he wants to serve, and he wants to show up in any way that he can. And I think I've also learned a lot in this process of being humbled, to the incredible work that I essentially would never have started by myself, So I want to celebrate you and everyone else for like being the ones to pave this path that I get to be a part of. And speaking of surprises, at the end of the summit, we do have some incredible surprises for you guys as well, from all of the speakers and from Cheyenne and myself. So if you're looking forward to getting some surprises and gifts, and how it can help you in your path of optimal health and well-being, then make sure to get your ticket and stay tuned for more information.